The time of the first songs. In the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. In the nothing, a troubled universe flapped and cawed and clawed, for indeed, it was a universe populated with birds, not unlike the great bird-headed one. Wise birds, able birds, colourful birds, beautiful birds, loud birds, birds of mystical song, birds of greater than wondrous greatness. And these birds, unfortunately, were not well. They were suffering because they were being persecuted by creatures whose names we will never know. But you know who they are, as you know the shadows of your own nightmares on those nights when you wake up sweating and pray to all of the gods and goddesses and all things holy, that dreams are not real, not even close, and that we stay close to life, real life, waking life, and that no horror can invade us there. These birds were persecuted, their wings were cut off, and they were told not to fly. One day, however, a magical bird, feeling an egg, a child, you know the feeling of creation inside of you. This bird, this grand of the grandest of grand birds, felt an egg inside of her, and something changed. The way that the times change, and everything seems to be the same as before, but it is different now, like riding in a city bus, and the bus driver steps out and another driver takes his place. And although it's the same bus, the same city, the same stoplights, the same roads, the same drive, the same minute that the vehicle arrives at the stop, still the feeling of the journey is different, because how could it be the same? The energy, the aura, the invisible understanding of the experience of the drive, all of this must have changed. Maybe the first driver was angry and this one is happy. It is the same with the shifting of the times. And what allows us to step off of the bus completely and go another way is the feeling of the change of the time, as well as, finally, a desire to ourselves to become the driver and be swept up in the arms of a new journey. Something changed. And this magical bird said to herself, "My child must have a different life than this." She then took herself with the egg inside of her to a healer and asked for help. The healer bird, who was also troubled by the storylines of the lives in her own universe, and in deep grief at the suffering of her bird people. This healer bird called together all of the ancestor birds and had them open a triangular portal. Welcome to the land of sacred triangles. Into another dimension where there was nothing. And water. Can there ever be nothing when water is present? This is a mightily philosophical question that has no business butting its impatient rump into our story. Go. There is a new life for your child there. That's the healer bird. She's old and wise and knows things nobody else knows or wants to know. Healer birds are a rare breed indeed. The bird with the egg was quite afraid, this magical bird. She had never flown through a porthole into another dimension. You know the feeling of being weak at the knees when faced with big change? How can you change in this particular way that is called for if you have never done it before? Where will it take you, this mysterious new path, if nobody has gone there before you? How can you be sure that this is the right direction? Who will greet you when you arrive? And yet, what does your heart feel like on courage? Still, she felt the egg in her womb, and the fire in her own heart leapt high into her throat. And with a new song bursting out of her beak, the one who carried the egg flew through the sacred triangular gateway into a different dimension. And this was the first song. Suddenly, she found herself steeped in deep darkness, like black tea bathing luxuriously in steamy hot water in the confines of a black cup. Free, yes, she was free, so free. She had never been so free. So free was she that from her breast came a cry that tested the boundaries of her own freedom and found them limitless. Oh joy, and the glee and happiness she felt when imagining the future of her child, unhindered by the evil of her own universe, was so indescribable that she wanted to tell her child of it, to leave something of joy with the little one, and so she sang to her child of her happiness. And this was the second song. Now, it was time for her to return home, for her own destiny forked at this point in this ancient road of stars, and she was to bring back her own taste of freedom to her people, so they could also eat of freedom and sing it too. Before she departed, however, the bird mother sang a blessing over the egg, and this, the blessing, was the third song. The song cut into the shell of the egg like a time of tremendous consequences falling from the sky and turning your life upside down. The egg cracked and out came little baby sun, flapping his shining wings, expecting what? Why, to be fed, of course. Seeing, hearing, sensing, feeling that, he was alone. Remember, there was nothing, and water. How can there be nothing if there is water present? You, philosophical consideration, you have no business butting your grumpy and goggling, love-rationing and thought-rationalizing, mythologist business-busting, busybody behind into the story. Baby son was alone. Nobody was there to comfort or feed him, and from his chest a great cry ballooned out the shiny and devastated truth of his big grief. And this was the fourth song. And you see, now, there are these 4 songs that we ourselves, children of the great light, sing again and again and again. This song of great courage and aplomb, of new adventures, big mysteries, and risks that come from the heart. The song of joy and freedom and happiness and arrival. The song of love and blessing and protection. And the song of great grief and sadness and loss. All are necessary on this journey of life. Without them, there are no stories worth telling. Song. Oh, sigh, sigh, sigh for the light, the holy burn, the heavenly fire. Oh, fie the great lie that this journey of life has a dull and meaningless end. More holy fire for the tongues of heavenly creatures, who sing for all of time without tire. More holy water for the throats of blessed, broken-winged prophetic angels who are never meant to mend. If you, precious child of the great light, ever have any questions about these songs, if you ever doubt that you yourself are a relation, perhaps distant, perhaps not so very much far away, of this beautiful bird, then look to the home that your heart has chosen as its dwelling, your own chest, where flap your 2 lungs spread out like the wings of a songbird, ready to bravely take a breath and, needing no permission, spout it out again into the world in holy keening. And yet there is another kind of beginning as well, a beginning where there was truly nothing. Into this nothing, on the mighty tail of a great bird of fire, dropped the holy twins. They loved each other so much that they needed to come and exist in a universe where they could kiss. And for kissing, you need breath. You need oxygen. Even fools know that much wisdom, though who has not been a kissing fool, and who would not love to stay one forever? Another philosophical aside from your intrepid inaugurer of all of the beginnings. Can anyone who has ever kissed another with great love be a fool? That is for another story. Not another story, no. This here is the greatest love story ever told. Yes, but later. Old man Time heralds his presence with a shocking interruption. This indeed is oftentimes style when announcing a change. Old man Time. Did somebody call my name? I am sometimes called later. Usually that means that the big mystery has stopped by and it is too drunk to introduce itself, so it waits outside of the door, slumped against the wall, sobering up, and the storytellers sit inside, waiting and wondering. Back to the story, Master Time. Let the shaman smith continue to beat out the hours in his smithy. My soul remembers the holy twins. I do not. But the holy twins live also in my mouth. My lips have tasted their love, and my tongue attempts to do them justice. Give me a handful of time so I can tell the story well. Old man Time. Back to the story then. Incidentally, back is another of my names. After they were dropped onto planet Earth by the great bird of fire that knew all of the secrets of life and death, the holy twins became the oxygen that feeds all of life and therefore love, and proceeded to breathe each other in with great love. They taught us that, you know. These holy twins were the great spirit of the human being and his beloved, the magical Star Queen. This here is their story.